Hello and welcome to another edition of Talk of the Crown, my weekly live chat led and directed by you guys. Now, I did write down what episode it is. It's episode 43, and of course, we are Saturday, the 16th of February 2019. So, hello and welcome to the show. I hope you've all had a very voluptuous week. I know I have. It's been incredibly busy with all the royals and even some of the lesser known royals. I say lesser known because, as we know, the media seems to have a big push on Harry and Meghan and William and Catherine, and we don't always get to see the Queen's children, Princess Anne, Camilla, Charles. So it's been really, really great this week to be able to bring you and share with you all the different work of all of the royals. So that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about this week, but it's been busy. I think in 1 week I posted 5 videos in one day, which was a really big workload. But like I say, it's really, really nice to be able to bring you all of that. Now, hello to everybody that's already in the chat room. Let me just see if I can bring it back up. Live chat. Here we go. So hello to everyone that's already here. And thank you for all the comments on the outfit. I'm actually wearing Queen Victoria's tiara today and Queen Elizabeth's star brooch and a little crown pin. Okay, let's see if we oh, by the way, I want to say a little bit. Well, first of all, I want to say hello to our fantastic moderators that always do a brilliant job each and every week. So thank you, a personal thank you from me to you. But what I want to tell the rest of the chat room is that in some of the comments in my videos this week, there has been a little bit of debate about how much time we spend on certain royals, not mentioning any names, Harry and Meghan, in this chat room. And my kind of reply to that was, I am led by you guys. I respond to the questions that you put. So if you're talking about Harry and Meghan, that is who I'm going to talk about. However, if you want more questions answered about Catherine and William or the Queen or whoever it is you want, then make sure you ask the questions. If you don't ask, then I'm not going to know what you want to talk about. So my wonderful moderators have agreed to scan through the comments for me because, as you know, sometimes I get a little bit behind when I'm talking and when I'm trying to explain an answer, and I get quite behind. So what my moderators are going to do is they are going to gather some questions that they think are interesting and varied, and they're going to message it me here on my laptop. So occasionally I will glance over and read some comments just so that we can have a more balanced chat, and hopefully that will satisfy the most people. Also, if I've already answered a question on something, the moderators have agreed to delete that comment. So if you have a comment deleted, it's not because you've done something wrong, it is because it saves me reading a question twice or answering a question twice. If you have missed anything, you can go back at the end of this chat and watch on replay. So it's just basically to keep things flowing and moving and hopefully to satisfy everybody's taste. So I hope you all agree with that. And I hope it works. We'll try it. We'll try it for a week and see how it goes. Yes, lots of people saying well done to the moderators. I agree. Christine says the Queen looked so cute this week. She did, and of course the Queen is back to work. Like I said, we had some speculation last week about whether she was still at Sandringham. We did see her at church, so that confirmed that she was still at Sandringham last week, but she did return on Monday back to work at Buckingham Palace, and she has done some engagements and had some meetings this week. And of course she went to the GCHQ, which is kind of like code breaking and kind of British secrecy and that kind of thing. So she did look really cute in blue, and I like her in that color, and I think she looked really relaxed from her Christmas break, and it's really good to have her back and see her back looking so well. And we know from today that she is in Windsor because she was photographed in Windsor horse riding. So all is good for the Queen. We don't know if Philip went to Windsor or not. He could still be at Wood Farm at Sandringham. We have seen head nor tail of Philip. Okay. Thank you for people saying I do a good job. Thank you so much. Okay, hang on. Mary West said, did Prince Philip voluntarily give up his driver's license when? Yes, he did. He gave it up last week, I think it was. I get so mixed up with the time. I think it was last week. He voluntarily gave it up. And that leads me to one of my points on my own list, which I'm going to read something from now. We had an official release from the CPS. Which is the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK. So once the police have gathered evidence of a case, once they've done their investigation, they pass all those details on to the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, and it is they who decide whether charges should be pressed against an individual, if it's in the public interest, if it's best use of public money, or if there is enough evidence to get somebody prosecuted in a court of law. So this is what they said. So the Crown Prosecution Service has decided that no further action should be taken against a driver involved in a collision on the A149 at Sandringham. Now, as we know, the driver is, of course, Prince Philip. Chris Long, Chief Crown Prosecutor for the CPS East of England, said, the CPS has carefully reviewed material submitted by the police in relation to a traffic collision on the A149 on the 17th of January this year. We took into account all of the circumstances in this case, including the level of culpability, the age of the driver, and the surrender of the driving licence. We have decided that it would not be in the public interest to prosecute. All those involved in the collision have been informed and provided with a full explanation in writing. The decision was made after considering all the evidence submitted by the police and in accordance with the two-stage test in the Code for Crown Prosecutors. Any decision by the CPS does not imply any finding concerning guilt or criminal conduct. The CPS makes decisions only according to the test set out in the Code for Crown Prosecutors, and it is applied in all decisions on whether or not to prosecute. So basically what they're saying is no further action to be taken, and it's gone through the correct channels. It hasn't been bypassed because of who he is. The case has been looked at and applied to the tests, the usual tests that are applied to any case that's put before them, and they have decided on that basis, on that fair, unbiased basis, that no further action is to be taken. So there we have it, the end of the issue. I mean, obviously, whether or not the driver of the car that got hit or the lady, Miss Fairweather, who broke her arm, are pursuing any other claims through their insurance for compensation, we don't know. But in terms of the legal side of it, it's done, it's over, it's finished. Okay, Tracy says hello from Cape. I'm going to get this wrong. Gerardo. Is that it? Glad to be here today. I love the Harry and Meghan and William and Catherine. I love them too. Maria Barr says, I would like to hear more about what Beatrice and Eugenie are up to as they are out and about on charitable doings. I haven't seen any this week, but then again, I've been so busy with all the main royals, I haven't had chance to check. I know they put things out on Instagram, and sometimes Sarah, the Duchess, shares on her Twitter. I haven't literally had time to go and check, but I will do. And if they have done anything interesting, I will bring it to you in a video. And like I've said in previous weeks, I do think that they don't get the credit for what they do off their own back. It's, of course, any charitable work they do is not on behalf of the royal family. It's because they want to. It's their choice. So everything they do is completely, I kind of say, unbiased. It's them. It's completely their own charitable work. So it kind of makes it maybe extra special. Nora Cherry says, we'd like to hear more about other royals. You're tired of Harry and Meghan and would like to hear more of William and Catherine. Well, we've seen lots of William this week. He went to the barbers and he was looking at issues affecting men in regards to mental health. So we saw him visiting a London barber shop, and they were talking about how barbers can be trained and people in professions can be trained to look out for signs and symptoms of mental health in men, because more often than not, men are probably the worst for talking about their feelings. I think everyone can be a little bit guilty of that, but in particular, I think men tend to bottle it in. So it's kind of training barbers and people that men go to on a regular basis to spot the signs and to be able to open that conversation and have that dialogue. And Prince William looked really relaxed on that visit. I think he looks really easy into his work now, and he's definitely, I think, going to make a really good future king when that time comes. But for now, he's doing really, really good with the causes, in particular around mental health, that he's really interested in, of course, under the Heads Together umbrella, which is again under the Royal Foundation, which is William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan. So he did a wonderful, wonderful job this week. And also we got to see Catherine's Chelsea Flower Show garden, the plans for it. I hope you saw the video I put up this morning, earlier on today anyway. So do go and check that out. And it looks really amazing. It's very kind of natural and naturalistic, and there's stepping stones and a little brook going through it and a bridge and lots of different nature things going on. So do go and check that out because there's lots to look forward to, I think, from the Chelsea Flower Show garden. I definitely want to go. And of course, we had the Charles and Camilla tour, which I made a video about. So if you want to see the full itinerary, do go and check out that video. But I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, the historic visit to Cuba. No royal has been to Cuba because of all, obviously, the political climate. And it is the first time a royal will be going to Cuba. And of course, it is on behalf of the British government. It's not just a pleasure trip. The entire Caribbean tour is on request of the government. But, Cuba in particular is obviously not part of the Commonwealth, but it is a political visit to further bilateral relations between the two countries. And hopefully lots of other countries on that Commonwealth tour will hopefully be able to get, two-way business going, because obviously Britain post-Brexit needs more trade and industry, and obviously the Caribbean countries are going to be after more trade and industry. So it's a very important political visit. Of course, the royals are non-political, but just by the power of soft diplomacy, visits by royals, hopefully further ties can be made between the different Caribbean nations and, of course, Cuba. And I hope that made sense. Live, Love and Laugh says, I think Harry and Meghan are the reason the royals have such a huge following. I think most members of the royal family and you read about them a lot. Well, I remember, obviously, my channel was way before Harry got with Meghan. So I know that, my channel was still having, big views before Harry and Meghan. But I think what's changed is the diversity has changed. I've said it before. I have a more diverse viewership now. Meghan joining the royal family has definitely brought in a new viewership. And of course, that has increased the interest. Lots of people are interested in Harry and Meghan. But I've always hoped that people will also see the work of the other royals and also hopefully find some new royals that they may be interested in too. Mrs. VSN says, how is Molly? I will update you in my weekly vlog on Sunday. Of course, I'm still there for the premiere, but she's doing a lot better. And so far, we've had no blockages. And if you're following the whole saga, you will know what I mean by that. Mike says, what is the due date of the Duchess? Well, she kind of let slip April, early May. Now, I'm thinking, I've always said, I think mid-April. Now, we know from the size of the bump that everyone's expecting baby to come out tomorrow. But no, I'm still plumbing on mid-April. we don't know an official actual date. With Catherine, with Prince Louis, we did actually get a leaked due date, but we haven't had a leaked due date for Meghan yet. As soon as, if one does, then of course I will let you know, and also whether I think it's true or not, because anybody could just come up with a date and say that it's official when it might not be. So if it gets to that, I will of course let you all know, but we do not know yet. But I'm thinking mid-April, but it could be into May. We're going to have to wait and see. Baby comes when baby is ready, and baby's definitely kicking. Jeannie Gibbs says, are you aware that the Empowering Bananas got great response from overseas? No, I'm not. So which overseas are we talking? Let me know. Let me know where the bananas got a great response from. Michelle says the Duchess of Cambridge's pink gown was beautiful. It was. She's really, I think Catherine is really doing it in the fashion stakes at the moment. And that pink gown was lovely. Catherine also did 2 speeches this week. And I think she looked fabulous on all of her engagements. I know some people like to pit Duchess against Duchess, and you know, one Duchess wears an off the shoulder and then that means the other one can't. I mean, we have to remember that, you know, Catherine has been a royal many years longer than what Meghan has, and in that time she has worn many different colors, styles, off the shoulder, on the shoulder, you know, low cut. She's worn pretty much any kind of style of gown that you can imagine, and you know, it's inevitable that 2 women are going to at some point have a little bit of a crossover when it comes to colors or styles or gowns, that kind of thing. So, you know, I'm done with all the comparisons. It's just, it doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. Elsie Mom of 2 says, hey Elliot, how do you feel about having so many new subscribers? You always do a superb job. Well, I like to think of everyone as friends and that we are a community. So yes, it makes me very happy to have lots and lots of new friends. And to be honest, you know, it doesn't matter to me or why people subscribe and watch, or who they're watching for, which royal is their favorite. What matters the most is that people come together over a shared interest and a love of the royal family, and that's only ever why I set this up. Although one of my main aims, and those of you who watched my live chats very early on will know that one of the things that I wanted, one of my personal aims, was to get more younger people interested in the royal family, and you know, in particular teenagers, because I think in a world of not very positive role models when it comes to celebrities and that kind of thing going on, I think having royals as positive role models is a really good thing. And you know, if you can have a teenager look up to someone who's doing good work and meeting different causes, I think a royal is a good place to look. So and inspirational too. And I think with the introduction of Meghan as well, I think she has introduced a younger audience too. You know, lots of girls in particular, young girls who want to aspire to perhaps be like Meghan, have been attracted, and that's really good, and I'm really happy about that. I agree, the Queen looked great. Teresa Jackson says the media has a love affair with William and Catherine. Everything is positive. We are frustrated with the negativity about Harry and Meghan. Going back to the early days of William and Catherine, I mean, Catherine did get her fair share of stick in the press. It didn't go on, I think, as long as it has done with Meghan right now. I mean, Meghan's had a pretty intense burst of it recently. But I've said it before I can't remember whether I said it in a chat or a comment, I don't know. But the stage has got bigger. There's more characters in the stage now. Back when Catherine joined, there wasn't anybody to play her off against. She didn't have a counterpart, is what I'm trying to say. So it was kind of, they picked on her a little bit to begin with, and then they had nowhere to go with it. when Meghan came in, it was like, to the lower grade media, we have someone to play them off against. We have Duchess against Duchess. And I think that whole feud thing came around from that. They took little snippets of truth and twisted it and made it into this big whole feud thing. And it was easy to run with it this time because there was more players. The stage was bigger. There was more characters to play with. So that's, Meghan to the media has, of course, done that. And then, of course, all the negativity has become a breeding ground. It has attracted all of those people that really have those negative, hateful, racist views. And it's kind of said, come to me, and you can air your views because we're facilitating it. And that's what's happened. And it's just carried on and on and on because it's very easy to rub two people up against each other and come up with a narrative that's completely untrue. When will it end? I don't know. We did have a little bit of a burst of kindness. Yeah, a little bit of a burst of kindness. I think that may be wearing off. Maybe kindness isn't selling papers. I don't know. So I'm fed up of it. We'll see where it goes. Of course, if anything is completely outrageous, I will tell you, hopefully enlighten you on what is true, what's not. Of course, I endeavour to guide you through the mire of this winding road of negativity and lies and fakery. My goodness, sometimes it really is exhausting. I think I need a holiday. I wish it would stop. Tim says, I wish they would leave Philip alone. Well, hopefully now it's all kind of sorted. Hopefully it will. Queen of Duva rather, says Her Majesty always looks cute. She's like everyone's granny. She's the Commonwealth granny. The world's granny, shall we say. Cameron says, I love that the Queen is still able to ride her lovely horses. She is indeed. And apparently she has a special mounting device or block that she can mount the horses with. No, I haven't watched the documentary on the Queen's children yet. I have it taped, the series. Has Article 13 taken effect yet? No, hopefully it won't. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. If you don't know what Article 13 is, YouTube it and all will be revealed. It's very, very bad. Okay, people saying that they would like to hear about different royals. And Lucy says, I would love to hear more about Sophie, the Countess of Wessex. She does great work. And of course, any engagement that I'm able to get hold of, I will bring you. People agreeing that the Queen looked very well rested. I think so too. Martin Gahan says, you look good. Did you see the new spending secrets of the royals and Britain's favourite royal on Channel 5? I didn't. But you say that it's fake news because they're being mean to other royals. I haven't seen it, but maybe I should check it out. We have a super chat donation from Annette White who says, this is from the heart to thank you. You took a lot of hits the other day and I'm still getting over the shutdown, but your site helped keep me sane. Thank you so much. $9.99. Thank you so much to you. You get a big fan flap. And of course, I know what you're referring to. Vinny Blair says, got a YouTube questionnaire today about my Meghan and Harry Endeavour Fund All Moments video. Checked one of the best videos I've ever watched. Oh, I didn't know that YouTube was sending out questionnaires. What were the other options? Let me know. Christine says, I was excited to see Charles and Camilla in Liverpool. You've been to the Albert Dock. It was really awesome. That was a very busy day. And some people in the comments said, why do the royals split on engagements? It's to cover more ground. So on obviously some engagements on a day's outing they do together. But then often they separate to cover different interests, which is what we're going to see on the Caribbean and Cuba tour. They have some engagements together, and others they branch off and they go their own separate ways and do their own particular tailored visits to their own charities and their own interests. It's basically just to cover more ground. Okay. Just finding questions. Thank you to Gail, who says I look fantastic. Mrs. VSN says, will Beatrice and Eugenie have to give up social media if they become working royals? That's a tricky one. I think any of their particular engagements would, of course, be broadcast through the official royal website. So the official palace one, the Buckingham Palace one, that's called the Royal Family. All of their engagements would go there. Whether or not they would be posting personal stuff, I think it would probably, on reflection, thinking about it, I think they probably would close it down, because all of their engagements would be on the official one, and I just don't think they'd be posting personal things. It's kind of like if Sarah, the Duchess, got remarried to Andrew, I think she would probably have to give up hers as well. But that may be a long way off. It may be sooner than we think. We really don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Royal watching really is sometimes like sitting in the... It's like you're on safari and you're in a hut, and sometimes you have to wait for things to happen, and you're there with your binoculars just watching and waiting for things to happen. And that's one of those occasions. A lot of royal watching, you're in it for the long game. Martin Gahan says, Sarah's 50th birthday was one of the best days of your life. Did you go? Do reveal any details. Did you have a cake? Running Late is excited about the Moroccan tour. That will be very interesting, and I can't wait to see. Jules Factor Jones says, even if the accident was Prince Philip's fault, we would not be told. He should not be driving at his age. His reactions will be impaired at 97. Again, we can't say that. We don't have all the information. We think we know what happened, but we don't have all of the information. And I keep thinking back to, like, I was driving the other day, and again, there was this blinding low summer British sun, and it was so dazzling. I couldn't hardly see what was in front of me. And it's one of those moments where you can't just stop and not go, because you would A, block the road, and two, you could be there forever. So you have to make a decision. And when you're driving, it's full of decisions. And sometimes you make the wrong or the bad choice, decision, whatever. I just think his accident could have been something that could have happened to anybody, regardless of age. And obviously the CPS has looked at that and has come up with no course of action. No, Lauren, I have no more news on the Duchess of York's body products and those smellies. I don't, I'm afraid. As soon as I do, I'll let you know. Book Princess says, what do I think about Catherine's unprepared speech? Okay, so the speech where she said that she wasn't expecting to speak, but then she spoke from a speech. I don't know, actually, whether they have backup speeches or whether, it's a difficult one, because I've never kind of had the situation where they've kind of said that they haven't been planning to speak, but then they've had a speech. I don't know. Perhaps it was like a reserve speech. But then why would you write a reserve speech if... I don't know. To be honest, that one is a little bit of a question. I would like to ask her myself. It is a bit of a mystery, and I don't think anyone's going to know the true answer. I was trying to go through it in my head and see if I could think of how it made sense. The only thing I could come up with is a reserve speech. That's possibly the only answer. I really don't know on that one. I would like to ask her. Wendy has donated $10. Thank you so much. Who says, thank you for always covering the royals so fairly. Thank you so much. And of course, you get a big yellow fan flap. Thank you. It really does help. Okay. Sorry if I'm skipping a few. Martin Gahan says, I think the York sisters haven't done anything in a couple of weeks. I haven't heard anything, but like I say, last week I didn't go and check, but I didn't see anything pop up on my news feeds. So you may be right. Gregory C says, donated $30. Thank you so much. Says, love your style and tiaras. Keep it up. And of course, you'll get a yellow fan flap. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Lauren Walker says, congratulations on over 75,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, whether it was early on or whether it was today. Thank you so much. It really does mean the world. Okay, Reg, I haven't heard what Piers Morgan said, and you've quoted something. I'm not going to read it because it may get flagged. And also Lady Colin Campbell. Let me know, was this week? To be honest, I've been so busy with royal engagements, I haven't seen. If Piers has said something this week, I haven't seen it. Let me know, and I will go and look it up, because if he has, it'll either be written down in a newspaper or it'll be on his program. Live, Love and Laugh says, Harry and Meghan are travelling to Morocco next weekend. You're a bit concerned about Meghan because she looks like she's about to pop. I know she's 7 months to almost 8 months. Well, again, that's why I don't think baby is due until mid-April, because they're still undertaking travel and engagements. I mean, we know babies come when they're ready. Sometimes babies come early, but I don't think it's going to come that early. So I feel I'm still going for mid-April. All the bits of information and feeling is telling me mid-April. So there we go. But we'll have to wait and see. Baby comes when baby's ready. And if baby wants to be born in Morocco, baby may be born in Morocco. We really don't know. H. London says, I agree. William seems much more confident and natural. He is such a good man. He's definitely grown into himself. Martin Gahan says, usually wished all of her followers on Instagram a happy Valentine's Day. Love is in the air. And for some reason, all my questions have vanished. Hang on. If I've missed any. If I've missed any, I'm sorry. No, I've not heard any news on the wedding of Lady Gabriella Windsor. I'm afraid no more Baby Sussex news. Lauren Walk says, will I do a live chat when the baby is born? Yes, I will. Biz says, I have gone back and watched a large number of your May wedding, and they are good, well worth new people going back to see the old one. I have 700 and something videos that are available that you can go back and watch. There are many. Tonya says, I was watching the difference between Duchess Catherine and Duchess Meghan, who always reads her speeches with no notes, and Catherine still struggles a little. Not everybody is a public speaker. And of course, Meghan has been drawing on her many years of what can I call it? her past. She's been drawing on many years of her acting past and being able to memorize dialogue and all the rest of it. So Megan has been really well equipped coming to the table. Some people are just not natural speakers. I mean, you know, I'm perfectly fine to sit on camera in front of a screen and talk to people, talk to, you know, hundreds, thousands of people who watch, and I'm fine with that. But if I actually saw, you know, 1,000 faces in an audience looking at me with those eyes, I would probably crumble. I honestly don't think I could do it. So to be honest, kudos to Catherine for getting up there and doing it, because if she is a little bit nervous, if she's not a natural public speaker, then actually she's doing a really good job, to be perfectly honest. You know, acting, reading speeches, memorizing dialogue is what Megan has been doing from her previous role, her previous career for a long time. You know, yes, Catherine's had many years to practice speech reading, but sometimes if you're not a natural at it, then you're not a natural at it. Like I say, I don't think I could do it. How many of you, think about it really, if you had to read a speech in front of thousands or hundreds of people in a room, all eyes on you, cameras on you, mobile phones, you know it's going to be on the internet the next moment, or it's been being broadcast live, or it's going to be featured on the news. Could you do it? Sweet Serenity says, Catherine's style is marvellous. I would agree. Thank you for all the comments on the outfit and the channel. Maria Lewis says, I'm hoping the baby arrives on the Queen's birthday. This would be 2 dates with significance, your mums and the babies. Okay, I'm just going to go and see if my moderators have put anything in the chat room for me. My lock screen came on. Hang on. Where are we? Okay, nothing. That's fine, which means that I'm doing a good mix. So hopefully no complaints. T French says, I think your channel has grown, not just... Why do my comments keeps... Okay, I keep trying to read something and then the screen keeps jumping and I lose them. I don't know where the one I was just reading has gone, so I do apologise. Lauren says, will the Duchess of Sussex be at Trooping the Colour? It keeps jumping. Literally, my screen keeps jumping. Well, obviously, I wouldn't have thought so, because it's maternity. Unless, of course, she may join for the balcony. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do something to my screen, stop it from jumping. Okay. I've put it onto... Oh, I think it went off live chat and went on top chat. There we go. I think I've sorted it, but I may have missed some, so I do apologise. Mrs. Whoever Whatever says, bothered me that Catherine wore designers like Prada, who had some particularly racist displays recently, and Catherine seems particularly politically clueless. I know the outfits that you're on about, because I saw them myself, and I think it was a very unfortunate design that they chose, and it was definitely one that was insensitive. But does it make... Were they trying to be? Was it a mistake? I don't know. Does it mean people shouldn't wear that designer until we know the whole story? I don't know. I don't wear Prada. I can't afford it. Lauren Walker, good idea. We can have a baby shower. Why don't we have one episode where it's a baby shower? That would be good. Karen Love says, Megan is a natural at giving speeches, not just because of her job as an actress. She gave her middle school class speech long before becoming an actress. Everyone has their own natural talent. I agree. You're either into speeches or you're not. You can get better at them, but if you're never really into them in the first place. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Oh, about heels. What's this? T French says, I really hope Duchess Megan stays out of the snow on a walkabout with heels, or eat while pregnant. I worried with every step she took. She has been wearing heels, and I know that caused quite a lot of concern. But if there was snow, like if she was really going somewhere with proper snow, I'm sure she'd wear sensible shoes. Oh, Reg says it's on YouTube about Pismore. I will check it out. Teresa Jackson says, I love Sarah, Duchess of York. I follow her on social media, but would love to see more of her. Thankfully, all of the stories I've seen lately are positive because she's had her fair share of hate in the media. She has spoken out about the hate in the media and social media concerns. And I think people have actually listened to her. So she's joined that ongoing debate about social media and how much negative comments can hurt and affect people and online bullying. So I think the more people join in the conversation, the better. We've had quite good weather over here in Shropshire for a few days, so I can't complain. Emily Watkins says, the only thing I saw about Eugenie this past week was a headline from one of the disreputable rags saying she was pregnant already. Okay, people saying, oh, okay, this is where I roll my eyes because it's a fake news story. Sometimes if I hear fake news stories, I roll my eyes, not to be confused with anything else. Vivian says, hello, love your podcast. I keep you in my prayers as well as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Well, thank you. And Prince William and Duchess Kate, be blessed. Lauren Walker's had lots of replies from Christmas and birthday messages she sent to royals. Well done. Thank you to Colette for the comment. As soon as I know when Meghan's in labour, I will let you know. Don't worry, Annette. I've not heard anything about Princess Anne coming up to Scotland for the rugby, but if she does, oh, there was a wonderful photo of her this week wearing a bow tie. I loved it. Mrs. Whoever whatever says, why don't royals get public speaking training? Well, I'm sure they can if they want it. They certainly aren't made to do it. There isn't, like a rule book full of royal training. They have to. It's not a course. There isn't a course in it. You can't study it. But if they feel as an individual that they would benefit from it, then of course they can. Of course, George VI had public speaking training to overcome his stammer. Thank you to Maya J. Has Princess Beatrice got a boyfriend? Yes, she did, and there was lots of talk about how they got together because the boyfriend had a previous partner, and of course he's got a child. We don't know the truth in it. There was a little bit of back and forth in the media between her family, not Beatrice's family, the ex-partner's family, and of course the new man. So we don't really know kind of the ins and outs of it all, but she does have a new boyfriend. As far as I'm aware, they're still together. But it's early days in a relationship, so they certainly aren't going to be walking down the aisle, barefoot and pregnant anytime soon. Oh, Leslie, I agree. All this discussion of skin colour is so unhelpful. We are all so much more than our skin colour. Look at the things they support and make news with that, which is what I'm trying to do on the channel. I always try my best to concentrate on the news, on what's true and what they actually do in their engagements, because I like to let the engagements speak for themselves, and of course the charity work that they do and the causes that they support. And I think that's far more important. Deb Max says, both women are beautiful, caring and strong women. There is just different styles. That is true, and they're allowed to be their own individual people. And sometimes if they wear a dress that looks similar, they can both wear white dresses. They can both wear black dresses. It doesn't matter. Sharon Welsh says, Catherine is amazing in the flesh, but very nervous. Well, I haven't met her in the flesh, so I'll take your word for it. Okay. Fabulous123 says, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Stop comparing the duchesses. Yes, Catherine gets nervous, but so what? I know people who have been speaking for years and they still get nervous, which was my point exactly. You're either into it or you're not. Yes, we can have a Sussex baby party. Parmalee Stevens says, I think most people would have difficulty speaking in front of crowds. I have heard that public speaking is one of the biggest fears of people in general. It's the eyes. It's the eyes. All those eyes looking at you and the anticipation of them expecting you to speak. Oh no, I wouldn't like it. I really wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Yvette Morris has donated $10. Thank you so much. Who says you are very fair. I try my best. In a sea of negativity, I do try. Thank you so much. Sometimes it feels like an uphill struggle, but you know, I will get through it. Toots has got a conspiracy. Are you the only one who suspects that the Sussexes will move into Clarence's house after Charles ascends the throne? Interesting thought. Well, it would be vacant if he moved into Buckingham Palace lock, stock and barrel. But there's talk that he might not. We don't know how true this is, but there were rumours that he may be wishing to keep Clarence's house on and use Buckingham Palace more as an office, which it kind of is anyway, for the main part. So we don't know whether it will be vacant or not. But if they're nicely tucked away in the seclusion of Frogmore Cottage, maybe they wouldn't want to move to a more central London residence. We don't know. But good conspiracy. Sheila Campbell says, some of the best speechwriters cannot deliver to a live audience. Leave Catherine alone. Why do we always compare when do we always end up with good, better or best rather than rewarding effort? I agree entirely. Lauren Walker says, if the baby was born on the Queen's birthday, would the channels show trooping the colour or the birth? Oh no, well, trooping the colours later. The actual Queen's birthday in April is not trooping the colour, so there wouldn't be a clash. It took a while for that to sink in. It's late in the UK. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. People are liking the baby shower idea. Jade Bell says, is it customary for British people to have baby showers? No, like it is in the US. No, but they are becoming more popular. I have seen people on Facebook and Twitter, British people having baby showers. So I think it's becoming more popular, but it's not typical. Not everyone does it. I think it's very, very big in the US. It's growing in the UK. So I'll say it's growing, but I'm sure Meghan, being American or having American history, probably will. And if she does, I'd like to be invited. But I'm not doing that nappy game because I've heard of that nappy game and it's gross. Time to Sow says, Harry will not have to step aside since he is sixth in line after the Queen. It will be Charles, then William, and then George. Yeah. Pam Johnson Gray says, I saw the documentary about Camilla on TV and her fondness of her Chelsea rescue dog. Yes, she is patron of the Chelsea dogs, and she loves it. And she finds it very, very hard when she visits to not come away with a new dog. But I'm sure she'll have another. I can see her having another. She'll be like a new queen with the corgis, but she won't have corgis. She'll have probably loads of rescue dogs instead, running around the palace. By the way, talking about Camilla and the palace, I did see somebody wrote an article about should Camilla be queen? Should she be accepted as queen? And I've had the same stance ever since I've started this channel, because it's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is, whether you're a Camilla fan or you're not, or whether you're fairly impartial, it's a matter of law as to whether she becomes queen or not. And under UK law, under British law at the moment, at present, there have been no changes. The wife of a king is a queen consort. That law has not been changed. There have been no moves to have that law changed. So there you go. As soon as Charles becomes king, as a matter of law, she will be queen consort, whether anyone likes it or not. That is the standpoint on it. So it's not about what the public want, it's what's legal, unless there is a legal change made in advance. Oh, Ilma Bat says, has someone asked why does the Queen never sing the national anthem? Because it's about her. She's not going to sing about saving herself, is she? No, it's a little bit similar to her being the head of the armed forces, and or for example, no, it's okay. I'll tell you what it's similar to. It's like having not having a driving license, because all the driving licenses are issued in her name, so she doesn't need one because she issues them for everyone else, so she doesn't need one. So it's kind of like with the national anthem, if people are singing it, they're singing it to her. She doesn't need to sing it. Veronica Ross says pregnancy suits Meghan really well. She just glows every time you see her. She does. Live, Love and Laugh says, when Prince William eventually becomes Prince of Wales, is he going to move to Clarence House? I very much doubt it, because where he is, in apartment 1A at Kensington Palace, is perfectly fine. There's no need to move. That property doesn't come with the title. Matilde says, the Duchess of York was on point. She and Diana are the only royal duchesses to go through the media comparisons. Kudos for her standing up for Catherine and Meghan. At the time, there was a little bit of pitting against the Princess of Wales and the Duchess of York, Diana and Sarah. I remember it myself from when I was a child, seeing it in the papers, in the news. And there was one occasion where I think it was Diana was somewhere doing an engagement and Sarah was somewhere else. I think she was in a different country. And at the time, all the media followed Diana and they didn't follow Sarah. So there was a little bit of a, a bit of a clash, not between them themselves particularly, but between the media, which duchess, which princess or duchess they wanted to go to cover. So there was a little bit of stuff going on then. Nowadays, we don't really see that. I mean, pretty much the royals are covered in terms of Meghan and Catherine, although we still do have quite a limited number of royal reporters out there, and they can only spread themselves so thinly. I think there should be more. I think there should be more royal reporters out there so they can cover everyone equally. The Queen's children, for example, or the Queen's cousins should get more coverage, just like William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan do. But in terms of Meghan and Catherine, I think when they're out and about on engagements, they get the same kind of coverage with the media pack. Cheryl Harrison says, I work in the cruise industry and you dealt with P&O passengers who are glad to be here in the Caribbean for 2 weeks. Okay, everyone will probably know that I really, really, really want to go on a cruise. I have never been on a cruise and I would love to go on a cruise and vlog from a cruise as well. I want to vlog a cruise. So I can quite concur that I think a Caribbean cruise would be amazing. And how wonderful would it be to kind of go on a cruise and visit the same kind of Caribbean countries that Camilla and Charles are going to visit? That would be amazing. So I am well gel, as we say in the UK, of the 2-week Caribbean cruise. So I hope everyone has a great time if you're on that cruise. Have a drink on me. Raymond Cassidy says, Meghan's large circle of friends love and protect her. Knucklehead Pierce and her family. Fate press. Don't worry, Meghan. You got me and her posse at your back. I need to check out what Piers Morgan said before I comment on it. Thank you to Karen. Oh, now Prince Hamilton has got a question that I asked myself, which is, when is The Crown season 3 going to premiere? I asked this myself because I was waiting for it after Christmas and it didn't come. There has been no official premiere date yet, so your guess is as good as mine. But hey, we'll have to just wait and see. And I need some water. Arnold. Pete says, people are talking about the off-the-shoulder dress because the media said Meghan broke protocol for wearing hers and called it tacky. She hasn't broken any protocol. There is no protocol on off-the-shoulder dresses. In fact, I think I remember Diana with a no-shoulder dress. There you go. Nobody has broken any royal protocol. And yes, EAO, the Queen wore off the shoulder. Diana wore no shoulders. Magna says, I remind you of a lion tamer when I try to calm everyone in a live chat. Thank you. With my whip. Yes, fake protocols. Oh, DC's got some information. According to a Radio Times website, as production has been delayed due to the reshuffling of the cast, it appears unlikely we will see the new episodes of The Crown before 2019. A delay? What could it be? Who's been shuffled? I'm not having shuffled cast. Okay. Geetanjali Singh says, when we have the Sussex baby party, can you be sure to eat lemon curd on scones? I like lemon curd. Again, I don't know when season 3 of The Crown is coming out. Okay, people are liking the baby shower idea. Karen Love says the Empowering Bananas charity received its first ever donations from overseas and from around the world. Not many media outlets reported that good news. I didn't know it. And unless it gets reported, people don't hear about it. I agree. Okay. Time to Sow says, I think Camilla will be happy being Queen Consort. To be honest, I don't think she as an individual is that bothered. I really don't. I don't think it was, ever in her plan, even initially to marry Charles. I think she was quite happy just having him, here and there when he was with Diana. So I honestly don't think she's the sort of person that actually is bothered by it. But that said, I think it's important to honour British history and British tradition and British law by saying that the wife of a king is a queen consort. I think it does the monarchy a disjustice to go against that, if you get my meaning. So I don't think she's bothered, but I think it's important that she is Queen Consort for continuity and for respect of the law and for respect of what's gone before her. Anne Boleyn wasn't popular at the time she became Queen Consort, when she displaced Catherine of Aragon. It's a very similar thing. But Henry VIII married Anne Boleyn, second wife. Anne Boleyn was Queen Consort. She wasn't popular, but she was still Queen Consort because that was the law. And I think it would do our history and the monarchy a disservice for her not to be Queen Consort. Oh, Julie Lippo says The Crown on Netflix is coming soon. You heard April. I haven't had an official date. So is that an official month? I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. Biz Burgess says, hopefully the Queen will live to her hundreds. There's every chance. There is every chance. She is in, so far, good health. Fingers crossed. No, I haven't met any of the royal family, but I would like to. Christine says Camilla will be Queen and Catherine will be Princess of Wales. Well, William would have to be made Prince of Wales first. It's not automatic. People think it is, but it's not yet. It has to be confirmed. Now, I think it's highly likely that it will be confirmed on him or conferred on him. But the only thing that the heir to the throne actually inherits is the Duchy of Cornwall. So he will be the Duke of Cornwall. But I think he will be made the Prince of Wales as well, which of course will make Catherine the Princess of Wales. And someone mentioned this in a comment about Catherine being a princess or Meghan being a princess. Someone said, is Meghan a princess? Is she Princess Meghan? And I said, no, she's not actually Princess Meghan. She's actually the Princess Henry. But if Harry hadn't been given a dukedom and she wasn't known as the Duchess of Sussex, she would be known as Her Royal Highness the Princess Henry of Wales. So with Catherine, she's not Princess Catherine or Princess Kate, but probably when she becomes Princess of Wales or the Princess of Wales, she may be nicknamed in the press Princess Kate or Princess Catherine, just the same as Diana was the Princess of Wales. She was never Princess Diana. It was just a nickname that the press called her. They called her Princess Diana, but she wasn't a princess in her own right. So she was never Princess Diana. She was always the Princess of Wales, and it will be the same for Catherine. Teresa Jackson says, I understand Camilla being queen, and that is okay because she is Charles's wife. I did not care for her a long time ago, but have accepted her. I hope Charles will restore Diana's title for his boys. I think it would be nice if Diana posthumously got the HRH back. I'm not so bothered about her being the Princess of Wales. I think Her Royal Highness Diana the Princess of Wales, or Her Royal Highness Diana Princess of Wales, would be sufficient. But I always had a theory, now conspiracy theory, but I've always thought that if Diana had lived once William was king, there's an old title which Margaret Beaufort was given. Now, Margaret Beaufort is the grandmother of Henry VIII. So Henry VII, when he became king, he gave his mother, who was never a queen in her own right, because of course Henry VII won the throne, he gave his mother a very special title of My Lady, the King's Mother. And I always thought that Diana, it kind of fits with the same kind of thing, because Diana, having been divorced from Charles, would never have been queen. So when William became king, she could never be called the Queen Mother. So I thought a really old title, going back to the 1500s, I always thought that perhaps William could have made her My Lady, the King's Mother, which I thought would be a really lovely title, but we'll never know. But I thought that was always something that could have been on the cards if things had been different. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Sorry if I've skipped. Lauren Walker says, if the York girls have babies, will they be titled? No. It's kind of the same thing as Princess Anne with being, and of course, Anne is the Queen's daughter. Now, I think Anne was offered titles for her children, Zara and Peter, but she refused. But it's highly unlikely that as the granddaughters that they would be offered any title, unless, of course, Eugenie's husband Jack was given a title himself, which he wasn't offered one or given one that we know of at the wedding. So I think it's highly unlikely. Julie Lippo says, I'm a travel agent and I love cruises. I've never been, but I really want to. I watch cruise vlogs all the time. Ilma Barr says, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was Queen Elizabeth while her husband was alive. Yes, true. She was not called Queen Consort Elizabeth. No, it's always Queen Elizabeth, but it's classed as a Queen Consort, if you get me. So the consort is kind of silent. It's a silent part of the title. But you are classed as a Queen Consort, even though you are Queen Elizabeth, for example, as Queen Elizabeth was. Laurie Clark is going on a second cruise to the Western Caribbean. I'm well, Gel. Jamila says, you are so refined. What is my title? Oh, I don't know. Let's make one up. The Duke of Shropshire. How do I think Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice really feel about having no official duties? I think they're in between a rock and a hard place. It's very hard to be a princess and to have no official royal role. It makes life difficult because they're vilified if they do, and they're vilified if they don't. If they get jobs, it's never enough, or they're not doing enough charity work, or they're going on too many holidays. If they don't work, again, it's that they're too lazy, they're spending taxpayers' money. It would be far easier for them if they had a royal role and they played by the royal rules, and they got their finances that way. It would be easier for them, much easier. So they are caught. I feel sorry for them. I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. It's not a very good place to be, I don't think, but they're making the best of it. They are certainly doing their best. Time to Sew says, Diana had a beautiful figure, just stunning. She did indeed. And of course, Catherine was wearing Diana's earrings this week as well, but they were altered. I'm sure many of you may have spotted, I don't know, the fact that the earrings were different. The pearls had been changed. Diana's version, they had big pearls. Catherine's had smaller pearls. And also, the very bottom diamond had been removed to make them shorter. And I think Catherine was wearing them lower on the ear as well. So they are the same earrings, but the pearls are different. The clasp is different on the pearl, and the bottom diamond was removed. Lauren, I would love to do some more royal cooking. I just never get round to it. It's one of those things that I want to do, and I've said I'd love to do, and I just never get round to it, but I would love to. Fabulous123 says, fake protocols seem to exist for Meghan. It's so unfair. There were fake protocols for Catherine too. I can assure you, I was here when they were going on, even in my early days of doing this, which was probably about 3 or 4 years into Catherine being a member of the royal family. There was still fake protocol breaks going on for Catherine. You can check my live chats because I'm on there on record talking about them. So there's my receipts. I'm not lying. Go back to my early live chats and you will see that I was talking about in the media people criticizing Catherine for fake protocol breaks. I did. The receipts are there. So again, it's not just for Meghan. It happened for Catherine too. I'm just telling you as it is. Cynthia, thank you so much. You've donated $3.99 through Super Chat. who says, have a cuppa on me and have a good Sunday. Thank you so much. You get a fan flap. Thank you so much. Vinnie Blair says, there is a photo of the Queen that hangs in every consulate and school throughout the Commonwealth for 20 years. Totally strapless. How vulgar was that? Leave Meghan alone. I know the portrait you're on about, and I love it. The Queen returning from Sandringham. There was a wonderful photo of her sat in the train, and the photographer got a shot of her through the window. And on the outside of the train, next to the window, there was a sign that said first class. And with the Queen in profile, it looked like a stamp. It looked very, very funny. I just thought I'd share that. And also, just a theory, conspiracy theory. I'm full of them tonight. I believe that the Queen is the most licked person in the world. Think about all the stamps. She has been licked so many times. There you go. That's my theory. Thank you to Joan, who says I look lovely. Thank you so much. Jay Mitch says, are there any museums or exhibits in England that mainly feature Elizabeth I? And will you go to them? Elizabeth, and have I seen any of her costumes or jewellery? There aren't any full costumes left. We only think that some of her jewellery exists in terms of a few pearls are on the imperial state crown. Some of the dangly pearls on the top are claimed to be from a pearl necklace of Elizabeth's, but we don't have any full clothing. We have a few fragments that people think are hers, like I think there are a pair of gloves somewhere, I forget where, but there isn't one particular place that is Elizabeth I. There's little bits of her dotted around the place. Hatfield House would be a good one to visit because that's obviously one of her former properties that she owned in her own right and she resided at. So Hatfield would be a good place to go. Also, Westminster Abbey, where she's entombed, would be a good place to go. And of course, I'd love to go to the portrait museums to see her portrait, because there are lots of works of art, again, dotted all over the place with Elizabeth I. Proper Holbeins. I'd love to see some original Holbeins. Thank you to Jamie, who says Twitter if I see nothing. Thank you. Magna says Camilla has a living first husband. Does that change things? No, because the Church of England, when they married, ratified their marriage. They accepted their marriage. So, sorry, I got my phrase wrong. They recognized it. They recognized the marriage as being legal. So, in terms of Charles being the head of the church, it is a recognized marriage in the eyes of the Church of England because they recognized it at the time. Even though he got married in a registry, it was recognized as official and true. So therefore, it makes no difference. Seaside Mom says Henry VIII was busy having a half a dozen heads lopped off daily. Things have changed. Well, that's true. I don't think Charles will be lopping off heads. Okay, I am going to check Twitter. Mrs. BSN says, I would have a blast on a cruise. So much to do, 24 hours a day. I'm sure I would. L2L Leadership Institute has donated $1.99. Thank you so much. It says, thank you so much for leadership on social media. Thank you so much. That means the world. People are liking the Duke of Shropshire. A close-up of the tiara. What can you see? I know my hair's in the way, kind of. There you go. It's my hair tiara and a normal tiara. Jules Factor Jones is the Duchess of Walthamstow. I like that one too. Why is it different for men marrying queens? Well, because it goes back to that whole sexist thing, doesn't it? It is basically an old sexist thing. So because in the past a king is technically classed higher than a queen, it works differently. So you couldn't have, for example, let's go back to Victoria and Albert as an example. So Albert, of course, was a prince consort, which is the highest up a man can get in terms of title, or rather the highest up a man has been. Although we did have William and Mary who shared the crown equally, but they are kind of a bit of an anomaly. So let's just bypass those for a moment. But Victoria and Albert, they didn't want Albert to be king because a wife is technically, in those times, subservient to the male. So it would make the queen regnant subservient to the man that married in, if you get what I mean. Because, of course, in those days, the woman would have to be subversive to the man. The man is dominant. So it goes back to those old sexist rules. And basically, we've seen a little bit of an unraveling of those sexist rules. Now, a female cannot be surpassed by a male in terms of the line of succession. We saw that with Princess Charlotte. Prince Louis has not surpassed Charlotte in the line of succession, as would have been the case before the rule change when George was born. So we are seeing a slow unraveling of all of that, but whether that will filter up in terms of the next time we have a queen regnant, if she marries a male, I don't know. The likelihood is they could follow the same route that we have done and go for a ducal title for the husband, or they could be offered a prince consort. But there has never been a princess consort. Yes, I am still thinking of going on my trips. The weather wasn't too good last week, and this week is the school holidays. So there's like millions of kids around, and I wanted it to be a little bit more quiet so that I could get some proper time in the exhibits, because it's going to be manic. I didn't realize it was half term in the UK this week. So it's going to be next week now by the time I visit the Victorian Museum. But that's kind of good, because something came, which I'll show you in my weekly vlog, and I want to practice a new piece of equipment. So I want to practice with this equipment to take with me when I go. So you'll see why. Oh, Mrs. VSN says, I thought I had another title. I did. I am a Laird of Dunnan's Castle. Okay, I know my moderator is going to be wanting me to check. So let's check. Okay, let's sign in. I feel like we've had quite a varied chat tonight anyway, actually. Okay. Thank you to my moderators for some questions. So, does the Queen ever take private vacations out of England? Well, years and years and years ago, before she gave up long haul travel, and we had the Royal Yacht Britannia, she did used to go on sailing tours. Sometimes she'd go around Scotland. I know that's not technically leaving England, but she did used to go on Scottish tours. And of course, they would take the Royal Yacht Britannia to wherever they wanted to go. But because there were lots of overseas tours anyway, there wasn't really ever a need for kind of like a private vacation. But the younger royals do. William and Catherine go on holidays. Diana used to go on holidays. Harry and Meghan have gone on private trips. So I think it's more that the Queen would have used Royal Yacht Britannia rather than, for example, gone to a resort on an aeroplane. Princess Margaret did, but the Queen, it would have been Royal Yacht Britannia. The Queen's favourite rose. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to research that one to see if there is any information. I don't know whether we know or not. But I know that Prince Charles has a Highgrove rose, which I would like for my own collection. How do you become a working royal? Well, there has to be space available first. In terms of the Queen has to decide that there is enough work to go round. And then obviously you are asked to do it. Okay, so Scott asked, what do I know about Camilla's Ray Mill house? Well, it was a home that she had, I think when she was married to Andrew Parker Bowles. Obviously, he left. She retained the home and she keeps it on as a bit of a sanctuary, I think, from royal life. She goes there to unwind, not rewind. She doesn't go into reverse. She unwinds with her family. So that's a place where she invites her children and her grandchildren, and she spends lots of time there, downtime, just being a grandma with her family, because of course sometimes we forget that people that marry into the royal family have their own families. Catherine has her own family, Meghan has Doria, and of course Camilla has her children from her previous marriage and grandchildren. So she spends a lot of time there. It's basically her family home. For the Parker Bowleses. Oh, and it is only a few miles away from Highgrove, which was one of the defining reasons why Charles bought Highgrove in the first place, because it was not too far away from, as she was then, his mistress. So that was kind of a little bit of keeping close to Camilla. Any more royal babies this year? I don't think we can cope with any more royal babies this year. I mean, who knows? Maybe a pregnancy announcement for usually at the end of the year. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Yes, I am looking forward to the Crown Series 3. I just want it out. I wish they'd stop messing around and give a release date, please. Thank you to Magna for the ship advice. Laurie Clark says, since we rarely see them wear the same thing a lot, do they have seamstresses alter the outfits? I don't think they... Well, yes, some outfits have been debuted on the catwalk. I mean, in particular, I'm talking Catherine. Some outfits have been quite revealing on the catwalk, and then when we've seen them on Catherine, she may have had something on the shoulders added, or she may have had a sleeve added. So there are alterations that go on from catwalk to when we see it on Catherine, or indeed Meghan, as the case may be coming up. But I think we've seen more examples on Catherine so far. In terms of re-wearing things, I think the royals tend to buy, if there's different colours or variations of the same thing. We've seen different colours of the same outfit on Catherine, but I don't think they necessarily have them altered. Princess Anne rewears things from the 70s sometimes, and she hasn't necessarily had it altered. She's just kept her figure, and she can fit in it, which I think is quite remarkable. Elizabeth Rudell has donated $9.99, who says thanks for the royal updates. Thank you so much for your donation. And you get a fan flap. And I need a drink. There we go. I'm remembering my drink, which is good this week. Okay, Bev says, I've probably already answered this. I probably haven't on this chat. But was Diana's jewellery divided between William and Harry? I think it stayed as one collection, and in the will it was to be divided equally. And it seems to me that what's happened is that obviously Catherine married William first, so she's taken certain bits, but she obviously didn't take the whole collection. And then obviously now that Meghan's married Harry, we've seen certain pieces being drawn out of the collection that Meghan has chosen. For example, Diana's aquamarine ring. We've seen Diana's bracelet. There were 2 diamonds used in Meghan's ring. I think we'll slowly see different pieces of the collection being drawn out by the 2 royal duchesses over time. And in the end, I think it will result in a split of jewellery. And who knows, there may even be key pieces they may share. But the one piece I'm really looking forward to the emergence of is the 7-strand pearl choker with the sapphire and diamond brooch that's in the middle of it. I want to see that. Now, we know that Catherine has had some of Diana's bigger pieces of jewellery altered to look smaller for her. It's her personal style to have, I think, smaller jewellery in general. Yes, we've seen her borrow a statement. I think it was the Nazim of Hyderabad necklace from the Queen. That was a massive statement piece. But other than that, and the tiaras maybe, we haven't really seen massive jewellery on Catherine. I think she's worn some nice bracelets. But in terms of earrings and that kind of thing, she hasn't really gone massive. Meghan really carried off the aquamarine ring of Diana's, and that was big. That was a big piece of jewellery, a big rock. So I'm wondering, even though it's a sapphire, I'm thinking that we may see it on Meghan. It's my prediction, because I think Meghan can carry off the bigger pieces. And even though the sapphire can be detached to be worn as a brooch, we don't really see Catherine wearing that many brooches unless it's an occasion that dictates wearing one, such as Poppy Day or that kind of thing, or St. Patrick's Day. So I'm wondering whether Meghan will get that piece because she carries them off better. We'll have to wait and see, but I really am looking forward to the emergence of it. Bassani Golf says, why don't the Fab Four call out the media for their bullying reporting? They talk about cyberbullying. Because it's like poking the bear. If you poke the bear, it'll rear its head and growl even louder. And of course, they don't want that. And I know that looks like kind of shying away from standing up for yourself, but really, it's not. If they start calling out the press, it becomes a battle. The UK press are very, very aggressive in general. I'm not talking every single person in the press, just some of the lower grade press. And like I've said before, if they start responding to stories and that kind of thing, it's what the press want. They want them to respond so then they can get double the stories. It's like win-win for the press. The press come up with a fake story, the royals respond to it, and then the press report on the response. It's like a double whammy, double money, double views. That's what they want. It's playing into their hands. And then they'll come up with even more fake stories to get another response. It's a vicious circle. And by staying with the Queen Mother's mantra, never complain, never explain, it doesn't seem like it, but it is to some extent curbing it. I think it would have been even worse if they had responded to it. But I know that's hard to get. It's a hard concept to get your head around because it seems like you're backing off and not fighting back. But trust me, it is in the best interests. Margaret McCulloch says, licked person. That's hilarious. She is. She's the most licked person in the world. Mrs. VSN says, I'm dying over the Queen being licked. Well, think about it. She has her face on all those stamps. That's all those tongs licking her. I don't think I'd want to be the most licked person in the world. Karen Love says, I book a cruise a year or two in advance. Maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Kat Harlem says, a Patreon question for patrons. Kat Harlem says, can we make a one-time donation through Patreon? No, I looked into it because some people asked. It's a monthly thing. But if you do want to make a gracious donation that I would be very grateful for, there is a PayPal donate button on the main page. But thank you for the kind thought. Judith Paris is in Barbados and looking forward to the royal visit. I am too, aren't we all? How many people are what? 482. Wow. I saw a question about Glamis Castle. Sharon Welsh says Glamis Castle has loads of both the Queen Mother and the Queen. Yes, I would love to visit there. It's in Scotland. Mrs. Whoever Whatever says that the royal reporters or royal reviewers you're saying are from a time before the internet when people didn't expect accountability and couldn't check what they said. Receipts, they keep blaming the awful Americans, but it's not just us. Everyone's to blame. I think it's an equal spread. Oh, Mrs. BSN, who says, I'm looking forward to my tiara arriving. I'm trying to find a box. The box it came in, I'm thinking is a bit flimsy. So I need to buy another box. So I haven't sent it. So don't sit by your post box waiting. I haven't posted yet. I will. I'm just looking. I think I may have to buy a more sturdy box to send it in because the box that I showed it in, I'm thinking may get crushed in transit. So I don't want it to get crushed. I want it to get to you in one piece. So I'm going to find a box and then I'll post. So I haven't forgotten. I am literally just getting a decent box for you. I am says, why is Jamaica missing from Charles and Camilla's upcoming tour? They can't cover everything. It really is as simple as that. It's the same in the UK. There are certain areas that they probably haven't been to for years. You can't cover all the ground, but in an upcoming Caribbean tour, perhaps you may get visited by Harry and Meghan or William and Catherine. We don't know. Jamie says Queen Mary I was married to King Philip of Spain. True, but he was already king of his country, and they made it quite clear that he wasn't to be monarch of England. G Ray says you was just sent a tweet saying there will be 2 courts for the brother, one for Harry and Meghan once they move to Windsor. No, they're still basing everything at Kensington Palace. It's still the same umbrella. Literally, the only thing that's moving on Harry and Meghan to Windsor, Frogmore Cottage, all of the court, if you like, all of their offices is still going to be based at Kensington Palace. Yes, Lauren. So sad to hear about the passing of Clive Swift. Of course, Richard Bouquet in Keeping Up Appearances. It was like a piece of my childhood died. It was very, very, very sad. Okay. I'm just skipping a few. Sorry. What is my favourite flower? I like scented flowers, so a scented rose is my favourite flower. Yes, there is a Princess Diana rose. I have a Princess Diana clematis. Is Harry back from the Arctic? Yes, he was back on Valentine's afternoon, ready for whatever Harry and Meghan were doing on Valentine's evening. Say no more. Yes, the Victoria and Albert Museum is worth a visit. I believe they have some of Victoria's tiaras on display right now. Did Catherine name Charlotte after Princess Charlotte? Possibly. It's a royal name, so they would have chosen it from the royal family names. I agree the Pearl Choker would be amazing to see again. I'm just skipping through. What age did royal children start royal duties? Oh, like attending Troop in the Colour. Well, as we know, we have seen the royal children on the balcony during the fly past of Troop in the Colour. But in terms of actually going there, I mean, they have to have enough concentration to sit. I'm trying to think when we first saw Louise, because that's probably Louise and James is one of the most recent. Were they about 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9 when they went? I'm trying to think back. My mind fails me. I think 7, 8, or 9. Or basically, whenever they're just able to sit for that amount of time and not cause drama. Nobody wants a royal child drama, do they? Margaret says, as for Diana's jewels, I really wish they would just give them to Meghan since Catherine has access to the entire royal collection. Well, not yet. I mean, she has to borrow things off the Queen. I think a 50-50 split would be okay. But also, Diana had quite a lot of what we call junk jewellery, fashion jewellery. Like, for example, if you remember that snake brooch that she wore. So Diana was very, very good at mixing up her jewels. She had some amazing real pieces that she mixed with some low value fashion pieces. Not all of her jewelry was, for example, real. I think some of her day wear pearls weren't real. Some of the more big ones that she used to wear. So I think they would kind of, I think it's Meghan could get away with it, especially if Meghan's wearing a trouser suit or pantsuit, as you say. That snake, I think Diana wore it with a trouser suit. I'm sure she did, and well, she definitely had it on a blazer anyway. I'm seeing blazer in my head. So as we know, Meghan wears trouser suits, and I just think, like I said before, Catherine doesn't really go for these kind of big pieces, and she's not really a broachy person. But I think Meghan could definitely carry off the sort of trouser suit look with the blazer, and that snake would look amazing. And there are lots of other, pieces that we haven't seen that I would just love to see. And I think they both have different styles, and they both kind of know what suits them. I think Catherine has gotten most of the sapphire pieces to go with the ring, but I do think the sapphire choker would look amazing on Meghan. She can carry off, as I've said before, the bigger pieces, like that massive aquamarine ring. That is a monster. But we'll see. Time will tell. Vinny says, Catherine wore an emerald necklace to the BAFTAs last year. Was that the emerald strand? I don't think so. I don't think it was. I'll check, but I remember at the time, and if it had have been, I'm sure I would have remembered. Harry in the attic. Well, he's not in my attic. I don't have an attic. Okay, I'm just skipping. Sorry if I've skipped. Is there any more questions down here for me to answer, by the way? Let me just check. Oh, that's fine. I've answered all the ones on there, so that's okay. Thank you for the moderators for doing an amazing job, by the way. Yes, I believe the Queen is close to her Scottish roots from the Queen Mother's family. Do I think Meghan's upset about her friends breaking her confidence and speaking to the media? No, I think it was all in agreement with Meghan. Mrs. VSN says, okay, thanks, appreciate the updates. Don't worry, I'm not sitting by the mailbox. Well, I had visions of you sitting there every day waiting for the post. And of course, I hadn't sent it. So I was going to message you anyway. So I'm glad you mentioned it. Oh, Candice says the tiara might fit into the box that your gift is in for me. No, I haven't received it yet, but I'll look out for the box. I'm looking forward to the box. Thank you so much, by the way. Dorrit Bergen says William will someday be king and Catherine will be his queen consort. Unless something really terrible happens, Harry will not be king. True. So there are and will be differences. True. Thank you to another Irish name I can't pronounce. I'm going to call you Claire Duffy. How do you say YSOLDE? Someone spell it phonetically for me. PM Smile says Prince William's first carriage procession at Trooping the Colour was age 4, almost turning 5. I think kind of as Prince William of Wales, a bit further up than what George is at the moment, it may have been a little bit more important for him to go early. I'm not holding out the same hope for George. Not because I haven't got anything against George, but I think times are a little bit different now. I think William and Harry both realise now as adults that they were made to do things as children that perhaps they would have preferred not to have done so early on. I agree. I think it's good to get them into things early. But I've just got this feeling that maybe we won't see George in a carriage at 5, Trooping the Colour. We will wait and see. I will eat my tiara if he does, but I don't think so. I think they're doing things differently this way around, this time around. And, like I say, I think William and Harry both feel like they were made to do things that they probably preferred not to have done. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few, so sorry if I've missed some. No, in response to Annette White, the rift with Charles and Andrew was that the reason for Andrew's girls, not princesses, but no, that they're not working roles? No, well, first of all, we don't know that there was a rift. That was always media talk anyway. But I always think it's the reason why they're not working royals, Eugenie and Beatrice, is because at the moment the royals that are working aren't at full capacity. Okay, how are we doing for time? My goodness, we've been talking for ages. I've just realised. Jamie says Isolde isn't. Oh, it's Isolde. Isolde isn't Irish. I thought the name sounded Irish. Okay, I finally made it down to the end of the chat. People are laughing at eating the tiara. I will eat my tiara. It's true. But we'll have to wait and see. I think I'm going to end tonight's chat here. I don't think I've missed any really, really important questions. And I think we have had a very balanced chat this week. I don't think any one royal has dominated the conversation. So thank you to everybody for asking lots and lots of varied questions. Thank you to my amazing moderators for helping me to negotiate my way through the chat and deleting repeated questions and that kind of thing. And also pulling out a few questions that I may have missed. So thank you so much to you. Mwah, to you all. So I will be back next week live Saturday at 10 p.m. GMT. So set your clocks. And I will be live with you tomorrow for the premiere of my weekly vlog. If you haven't seen my weekly vlog, it's basically nothing to do with the royal family. It's about my life at home, my British life in Shropshire. So if you want to be in the premiere of that video, it's tomorrow. Kind of think about 15 minutes. Okay, check the time where you are now. And it's 15 minutes on. So it's literally 12 o'clock or 12 a.m. This time tomorrow, GMT. I will be in a premiere of my video, my weekly vlog. So I hope as many of you can make it as possible because I really do love that part of Sunday. It's one of my favorite times of the week. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media and also hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, please do make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It really does help. So from me in Shropshire, mwah, goodbye.